What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. Candygram for Mungo. We've had a delivery. What was that? Buzzing saddles, there you go. So I've got my sprockets and stuff turn up, which is ideal. This is the 520 setup that will be used on ASBO, not Stevo's, because that don't even fit. So that's all turned up today. And I've also got my chain. Is it a 520? Where does it say 520? Yes, 520. So we're all good and sorted there. So I can have all that lot off, put the proper stuff on, and then we can see what real clearances we're going to have, which is a good thing, because then I can start notching out frames and monkeying about and seeing where we are. I've had a couple of other deliveries as well. I've got a new fairing for the ZZR. He's sitting up there waiting to be painted. It is a little bit scratched and, well, awesome graphics to it. But anyway, he's sitting up there, so we'll get done at some point. And Simon Rolls has also been down, bouncing up and down on it, so we're trying to sort suspension out, and I need to sort something out with the rear and that as well. But anyway, so that one is coming. That'll be a separate one. So today, because today is Friday, I've had bugger all time to do anything this week. I'll see what I can get done on this. You know, get it in place, have a look at it, all that sort of stuff. But tomorrow we're having a beach day. I haven't had a beach day in ages. So we're having a little bit of family time. And then Sunday we've got the mega ride. So that's like, you know, I don't get this weekend. Next week as well, which is a massive pain, my shift is changing just for the week. So I'm going to be 7 AM to 7 PM at my other work. So you know, I'm not going to be able to come in here and do stuff during the week, because like by the time I get home and I get a shower and I've had some scoff, and it's going to be stupid o'clock at night, and I've got to be up at stupid o'clock in the morning. So you know, it is what it is basically, but at least we can get all this lot done and see where we go. Right then. Right, okay then, so without the chain on, I can get a straight edge on the inside of this sprocket and the inside of the front sprocket, and the two are lining up cock on. So I'm happy with that, that's fine. Throw a chain on it, and obviously the outside edge is hitting the frame here, and this is where I need to notch it. So I just want to put like a mark on it somewhere to say notch it up to about there, I reckon. This bottom one, with a chain on, I mean obviously it's hard to, that's how it would be. I would need to notch the inside of this frame tube here as well, just to give the chain clearance, because it's on the same plane as that. But he is close to this lower cross member, so I could put a notch in it. It's only a cross member at the end of the day. But I'm still thinking if I was to move it down, then that gives me a couple of benefits. One is I get a little bit more daylight around the back of the engine here, between the engine and the frame. But also the rear engine mounts would then be vertical, so it'd be under compression rather than out at sort of 90-ish degrees. So I quite like the idea of moving that down. It does mean remaking that complete cross member, which has got arms for the, or brackets rather, for the lower shock linkage, the lower engine mount. And if I shift that down, I'm probably going to need to redo this top mount here as well, just so I can centralise the shock in the hole in the swing arm. So, you know, it's not just doing a notch, basically. It just did. But the notch, I think we probably want it to go, because that's solid up there. So we're probably going to notch it from there to about now to about there on the inside. As far as how much notching goes on, it's not a huge amount. What I'll do is I'll measure the, I'll take the chain off, put my straight edge on the inside. I can measure the thickness of the chain and also the sprocket, because I know which face it's going to be off of, and that'll give me where the chain will end, and then I just want some clearance on top of that as well. That'll do. Alright, let's do that. Alright, so 6 on that. Let's load to clearance. That's load to space actually. Right, so we are probably going to be notching the frame out to about 8mm depth, which is fine. The bit that I need to notch out of the frame is also the bit where it widens out to get to the boss, so obviously there's more metal there, it's going to be stronger. So I think I'm going to give it 6mm clearance, then I'm going to offer everything up. If I need to go more, just because I really want to go more, you know, clearance is important, isn't it? Then I can do. But I think we're going to be alright on that. Okay, right. 1200s, all models, 180/55. And that is a 180/55. Where is it? I'm sure it's a 180/55. 180/55, right. See, this is... clearance is clearance, and I get all that. The front and rear wheel on this is all absolutely dead nuts in line. This is like a Mark 1 Bandit swing arm, rear wheel, sprocket carrier. It's just the sprocket that's different, okay? And that wheel is dead nuts behind the one up the front, so I know that that's the centre line. The inside face on this sprocket doesn't move. I'm going with a 520, which is just it's a narrower section sprocket, but that inside edge doesn't move because it bolts down in exactly the same place, and it lines up exactly with the front sprocket, so I know that's in the right place. The thickness of the chain is basically the same, but if you was to put a rule between the shoulder, you know, this shoulder of the tyre and the inside edge of that chain, I mean, there's clearance, and clearance is clearance. I just would have thought there would have been more. I would like, because I don't know how much a tyre deforms. You see it on the racing, on like MotoGP and all that. And this ain't a MotoGP part by any means. But you see them all tipped over, going over bumps. There is an awful lot of deflection in the tyre. So I just thought, you know, given the nature of the roads and the fact how they're not very smooth, like a racetrack is, I just would have expected more clearance. If anybody has got a Bandit 1200, like preferably a Mark 1, because that's what this setup is, can I get you to do me a favour? Where the chain run comes past the tyre, can you get a measurement between the shoulder of that tyre and the sort of inside edge of the chain, if that makes sense? Don't bother about the rivets, just up to that side plate on the chain. I would love to know what yours is measuring, because I haven't got anything to compare. But like I say, it's all standard and it all lines up. It should all be fine. I just, you know, I want more. Right, okay, I think I know what we're doing on here now. I've got my marks. I think the next thing is, have the wheel out, have the front end out, muscle the engine out of it, which I'm probably going to do just by lifting the frame off, I think, this time, because I haven't got anybody else here. and basically just get it down to the frame, and then I can have it on the bench and chomp it out and get it done. I reckon. Okay. Right then. Okay, so the bag's all cleared out. I can actually get to stuff now and start chomping. I've got some measurements and stuff written down here just so I know what I'm doing. But it's going to have to stay like that for a little bit because it is now 12:25 and I need to chip off to me work. So, I'll be back. I'm doing stuff. I haven't done much stuff recently, but I'm doing stuff again. So, this week I've been a little bit quieter on here than I normally am. That has to be said, and for a very good reason, because this weekend we're having an engagement do. We've got a few like friends and family and stuff coming around. It's just going to be a barbecue and a few beers, and you know, Jake will be doing his DJing and all that. So all those jobs that I should have got done over the last couple of years suddenly all need doing. Like all the garden's got to be jet washed and painted and repair the panel fencing, and then I've got to paint the house and do the guttering, and you know, we've painted the kitchen and the toilet and the everything. New toilet's gone in. All because we're having a barbecue and we're inviting a few people around. Where we live is not glorious, it has to be said, but we're trying to spritz it up. So that's what I've been doing and why I've not been in here doing that much. So I'll get all that lot done. Are you on that way? Yes. But I've still got stuff to, I've still got the outside of the house to paint, and today is Tuesday, so I need to be getting on with it. But I'm in here today just doing a few bits and pieces that need doing. Like one of them. That can't be a bad thing. Alright, so if I can get all that lot done, which I should be able to do, get the party out of the way, then we're back on it big styley. However, in the meanwhile, I want to start chopping up that frame so I can get it fixed. I am quite looking forward to the party, it has to be said. I could just do without a big list of stuff to get done. Anyway, ZZR, he's running great. I've still got stuff to do on it. I've had these things turn up, which is the needle seats for the main needle. They don't look like the ones that come out of it. They just don't look the same, so I need to see if I've got the right bits for that. It is a little bit tickety, if I'm honest, where we razzed it up on the dyno. I mean, it did like 10 runs, just when we was checking stuff out. And it is a little bit sort of, it sounds tappety. So this weekend after the do, I'm having the top off that. I just want to measure valve gaps and do the cam chain tensioner. I have got a tension tamer coming for the alternator starter chain. So that's going to go on anyway. It's just, I don't, you know, things shouldn't rattle basically, and I don't like it. So that's getting sorted. But I was in a pretty good place to get this lot done. Because I've had my stuff turn up. Might as well have at it, eh? Right. Right, so I know roughly where this has got to come off. There's a fair old chunk that we're taking out, but there is loads of meat left in there, so that's good. This is only rough. Mr. Bad, it is bad. Every time. There is quite a bit coming out of this. Obviously not the middle bit there. But we're having this chunk out here and that chunk out there just so I've got a decent chain run. He probably doesn't need to come all the way down there either. Do it something like that. I can always take more off, but the idea is I want to start chomping some of this out and kind of sneak up on it. We'll shove the rear end back in and lay a chain on it and see how close we get. We'll just keep nibbling as we need to. Right. Right, word of caution. If you're choosing to use a die grinder, make sure you cover up. What comes off this is just like a squillion, tiny little razor sharp needles, and they will just stick in everything. Like, they'll just stick into your skin, and as you try and brush them off, all you're doing is driving them in. So it's a brilliant little tool just for getting in all the nadgery bits and everything else, but bloody hell, it causes carnage. Started out with one of these. Dear, that was never going to happen. So we ended up on this, but I've got my first notch done. So we're probably not big enough, but we'll get the back end in, and we'll have a look and we'll see where we sit, and we just sort of go from there, really. Just sneak up on it. Right then, I have to keep moving. Every time I touch this swing arm, more media blasting stuff falls out of it from where it was shot blasted. And the trouble is it gets on axles and goes in bearings and all sorts of stuff. It's not good. Right, so if he goes on like that, and he was flat, that gives us plenty enough clear. Oh, actually I need to take that little bit out the back a tiny bit more. Yeah, I just need to take the back out a tiny bit more. The front is fine. I'm happy with that, and it gives it a little bit of wiggle up and down as well. So that, I think, is where we need to be. Basically, I'll take this edge down to where I want it to end up, and then I'll put a chamfer on the inside to it, just as my weld prep. Oh, I think we'll be fine there. So it's basically 8mm coming off of it, which is fine. Right, that bottom bit is going to have to wait because I need to get off to my work. It's already 10:02. Basically, Jack rocked up and we've been chatting. So I'll be back.